How are you?
Hi, Miss Jill.
Hi, how are you?
Good, good.
This is different, huh?
Yes. And hello, Miss Destiny.
There's my little girl. Doesn't she look cute? Look at her hair.
All right.
She's muted. I don't know if she knows she's muted. Yeah. Finally, it's nice out. Finally, some nice weather. What the heck?
Hi, Jill.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm okay. I was just saying, finally, some nice weather. It's going to rain soon. Tomorrow, rain more.
Yeah, more rain.
Hey, better than snow, man.
That's right. It'll be easier to do gardening.
It will be. Soon. Soon it'll be time. They don't freeze first. What else is new? Anything else new?
No.
My bangs are long. Holy cow! I gotta.
I know my hair.
Makes my forehead look huge because I gotta pull my bangs back. Yeah. No. No.
No.
I see people looking and they're looking at the side. I'm like, stop staring at all that gray hair on the side of my head. Just let it go. We know it's there. Let it go.
I don't have that problem, so my friends don't like me.
Oh, see there? Nice.
Yeah. Thanks to my father.
Nice.
Jill, I have a question for Destiny. Did she get the card that the board sent her?
Let me talk to. I'll tell her.
Yeah, I think
she
trying
did.
to say yeah underneath the mic. She has to.
I think her neighbor. I think her neighbor. I'm texting her right now. Tell her to unmute herself.
There she is. I think she did. Destiny,
okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Hi, honey. Did you get the card we sent you?
Yeah, it actually went to the old address.
Oh.
But her neighbor called her and she was able to get it, right?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Fantastic, honey.
Thank you for the card.
You're very welcome. And congratulations, you're going to be sporting out of school.
No, I cannot wait because I'm planning on starting as a dental assistant.
Yeah, that's what I read. How neat for you.
A year.
Oh, okay.
I'll be going to Great Lakes. I can't wait. I'm actually nervous. I'm like, I think high school was the biggest fair. It's like college, I think, is going to be the biggest one.
No, wait till you have your patients in the chair. That'll be the biggie.
Oh, I will be nervous.
You're going to be great. You'll be great.
I can't wait. I'm smiling. But then I'll be nervous because it's like a lot of patients. At least I hope we get to wear a mask. I don't got to see them. So they don't notice.
No, I think you'll have a mask on, but I think you're going to have to see them.
It's like, okay.
close that door. Thank you.
Okay, you on the floor? Okay, everyone, it's 6 o'clock. Call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the reading of the meeting notice. Mrs. Jones?
The Board of Directors of the School District of the City of Erie, PA will meet in regular session on Wednesday, May 13th, 2020, online via Zoom meeting at 6 o'clock p.m. by request of the President, John C. Harkins.
And now the roll call.
Mr. Titus?
Here.
Ms. Cooley?
Present.
Mrs. Feeney?
Here.
Mrs. McNair? Mr. Nichols?
Here.
Ms. Pickens?
Here.
Ms. Sheridan?
I'm here, but
Mr. Spagel? Mr. Harkins?
Here. So Tom and Angela aren't with us?
No, they're presently not logged in.
Okay, well, we'll hope they can join at some point. We'll have the Pledge of Allegiance led by Destiny Parker, a 12th grade student from the Patrick J. DePaulo Student Success Center, introduced by Ms. Jill Crable, the principal, followed by a moment of silence for Thomas J. Perry, former teacher and coach, who passed away April 18th, 2020. Mr. Evan Tucker Jr., former longtime Erie School Board Director, passed away on April 30th, 2020. And Ms. Rita DeCarolis, one of our board secretaries in the finance department at the administration building, who passed away in the last few days. Ms. Crable?
Good evening, Superintendent Polito and board members. Thank you for having us here tonight. We're really excited. I know Destiny is excited to be here. And she just recently finished her last class up, so she is officially all but walked. She's got the 26 credits. She's been working hard with her mom and really putting a lot of time and effort into her classes online in our recovery program. She has 3 other siblings that attend our school district. She likes the challenge of the online component because she says she can work at home and she likes to work at her own pace. She's happy that our teachers are available to help her via email and text messages. Her favorite subject is science. Since I've known her, since I was at East High, she started at East High a couple of years ago with us. She's always had a job. She currently works at Peterson Cleaning Services. She wants to thank her mom for all her support, and her mom has been very active and encouraging her to continue with her education, which she will be starting to go to Great Lakes to be a dental assistant. I asked her if there was anything she would like to tell other students, and she says she wants to tell other students that not to give up, to keep trying, and that they can do it, and just to keep going. So Destiny, please lead us in the pledge.
Everyone around?
I
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the
Happy
United States of America and to the republic which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Destiny.
Yeah.
Next would be the certificate of appreciation to Kaylin Fedak, the student representative to the board for the April and May of this year 2020 meetings from Erie High School. Kaylin, are you with us?
I'm here.
Okay, well, if this were normal circumstances, we'd have a plaque and a framed certificate to give you, and we'll have to get that to you, and we will in the days ahead. So thank you for last month and for your involvement this month. Any comments or thing you want to say to us
Thank you for having me.
throughout the meeting? And if there's anything at some point you want to comment, say, well, it's your chance, you can, okay?
Okay.
All right, and then executive sessions. The board met in executive session on Wednesday, May 6th, 2020 via Zoom meeting online from 7:24 p.m. to 7:40 p.m. regarding legal and personnel matters. And again, this evening, we met in executive session. That's Wednesday, May 13th, 2020 via Zoom online from 5:31 p.m. to 3:49 p.m. regarding negotiations. Next up is the report of the superintendent. Mr. Polito.
Thank you, Mr. President. Well, graduation is going to look a little different this year, but we're excited to provide our students with the opportunity to walk across the stage to receive their diploma, a milestone moment they and their parents have been working so hard to achieve. Congratulations, class of 2020. Secondly, a reminder that enrollment for pre-K and kindergarten will take place online this year, beginning Monday, May 18th. The link to the online enrollment portal will be announced and made live on Monday on our website. In the meantime, families can find information and enrollment requirements at eriesd.org/registration. Lastly, I want to thank all of our students, teachers, and staff who have made the launch to online learning a success in Erie's public schools. To be sure, this has been a challenging time for all of us, but our EPS family has once again risen to the occasion. If your child still needs help logging on to Google Classroom or navigating online instruction in any way, please visit our online portal at eriesd.org/online or contact your child's teacher or principal. And that concludes my report, Mr. President.
Questions for the superintendent? Comments? Darlene, I told you that budget question you have can wait till the new business when we deal with taking a vote on accepting the proposed budget.
That's great. Thanks, John.
Anything else for the superintendent at this point? If not, may we have a motion to accept and approve the report of the superintendent?
So moved.
Moved by
Second.
Doug. Moved by Ms. Feeney, seconded by
Ms. Cooley.
Frank Cooley. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion's approved. No citizens desired to contact the Secretary's office prior to the meeting, so there are no citizens to be heard this evening. Next is report of committees. Are there any committee reports or liaison reports from any board members?
Mr. President,
Aye.
very briefly, the Land Bank Board last met in March. We have not had an April meeting, and we will not be having a May meeting. There's not too much business for us to conduct. I did want to let the board know that as required by Act 153 of 2012, a copy of the Land Bank audited financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2019 has been submitted to PADCED, and a copy was provided to the city. And you can let me know if anyone on the school board would like to look at that. Then on to IU5. First, I guess I want to mention that, and I believe that it was announced that Dean Maynard has decided to retire effective, he's the director of the IU, effective in October. Dean has done a great job of leading the IU for the past 12 years, and he certainly will be missed, but we want to wish him much luck and a very happy retirement. One of the things that Dean does at every meeting is he goes over some of the legislation that's going on in the state. So I just wanted to review some of that with you. Obviously, we all know about Senate Bill 751, which is requiring us to pay all of our employees. Senate Bill 613, COVID-19 mitigation plan for business, that was vetoed by the governor on April 20th. Senate Bill 841, local governments with flexibility on the timeframes and payments on taxes. Senate Bill 327, where counties could implement their own mitigation plans. And I believe that may have been amended today. And I don't know if Solicitor Walker, if you know anything about where we are with that one. And then House Bill 974, House Bill 1076, which would be allowing seniors to earn credits towards their taxes. They've been acting as a partner with IU's been acting as a partner with PDE to help the districts as we've navigated through the closures and through our online learning. They at the IU have been having Zoom meetings as we have been in our district on a daily basis, often 3 or 4 times a day. They've planned virtual learning in forms of enrichment and review and planned instruction. Some of the things that are happening locally, consideration of furloughs. Obviously, we have our graduation plan, and I want to thank everyone for doing such a great job. I believe teacher evaluations are something that we haven't discussed. Hopefully that's going smoothly as well in our district. They have been dealing with some special ed concerns, as we have as well. Transportation contracts are also something that they're concerned about. And
Yes.
the summer food projects that they're working on that as well. And that's all I have to report from the IU5.
Any other reports?
Mr. President,
When?
it's not a report, but I just wanted to let everyone know that the resolution is being worked on, and we're going to present it at the June meeting. So we wasn't as rushed to have it for this meeting. So it will be presented at the June meeting.
Mr. Tucker.
For Mr. Tucker, yes.
Understood. Okay, may we have a motion to accept the committee reports?
Motion to accept.
Moved by Ms. Sheridan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Lori Pickens. Discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. There's no unfinished business. We have new business and supplemental new business. And I know Ms. Jones would like us to have those combined in one motion. Am I correct, Angela?
That is correct.
So can we have a motion to approve the new business and the supplemental, knowing that once we do, discussion on any of the items included can take place? So is there a motion to approve the new business of the school district and the supplemental new business of the school district that's before us?
So
Motion
moved.
Accept.
I think I heard Gwen and Darlene. Is that right?
No, I believe that was Darlene and Rose.
Okay.
Yes. I sound like you, Gwen.
I guess so.
I have it.
Okay, any discussion? Now, this is where one of the items is the proposed budget. Darlene, you had some questions or comments on that? The very first
Yes,
item.
John. So for the board to know, I did contact Dawn yesterday because I wanted to make sure that it was okay for me to go ahead and accept the proposed preliminary final budget, but to let the board know that I am not in favor of a no tax increase. I've been looking at the numbers. I've been listening to what you've been saying. I reviewed the committee of the whole from last week, and I also have my past experiences on what has happened when we've gone through recessions before and we have not increased taxes at all. And so I do want the board to know that I'm moving forward with encouraging us to increase taxes 1% for this year. I think it's important that we don't kick the can down the road. We know what's going to happen to us about maybe 5 years out. I remember when we went through this before because I happened to be on the personnel committee for the EEA, and I worked with B on the postings. And so, back after all that happened and no tax increases or minimal, Then when we hit, 2012, that's when we had to close 3 schools. We had there was a lot that we had to do. We had to furlough 230 teachers. So I guess what I'm saying is, good practice, budget practice would be that we should raise taxes, I believe, this year. I know it's a difficult situation for everyone, but I also feel that it's going to hurt our community down the road. It's going to hurt our students down the road if we don't do something now. We have so many unknowns, and we've just gotten out of our bad bond rating, and we're hanging by a thread right above junk, and we have a lot of construction that we still need to do. And I feel very strongly that this is something we all need to look at and consider. So I just wanted the board to be aware of that.
And Darlene, you had asked at the prior committee, the whole meeting a week or so ago, of the superintendent that he give us an idea of what the budget would look like with that as a factor in it, Brian.
And I had proposed 0.5%, but then looking at what that would generate and talking to Brian, I realized that we really do need to raise it 1% for it to be a good financial impact to our budget.
Okay, I was just reminding Brian, if he hasn't already done it, that you had made that request of him.
Mr. President, I have been in contact with PFM about the 0.5%. They're working on those projections. I will also reach out to them and have them prepare the 1%, and we'll bring you several scenarios at the next committee of the whole meeting.
Okay.
Brian, in addition to that, could you also at the next committee of the whole meeting show the board what happened when we didn't raise taxes for those numbers of year, those years? You'd shown us this before, and then we had to spike. I think we had to have a referendum, as I recall, and I want to say we almost raised taxes 7%, and we don't want to go down that path again. We just don't.
Yes, I can do that.
You could tell I'm really feel strongly about this, right, everyone?
Mr. President, I just want to affirm the things that Darlene has said, being that now we have momentum and we're getting the academic needs met for our students, and we're getting the building projects done and making the schools tolerable for our students so they can at last have Taj Mahals kind of as buildings to go to. We just have all this momentum going, and listen, I lived through those cuts, and they were awful. So I am agreeing with raising it to 1%. And I think everybody should consider that.
President.
Go ahead.
Mr. President, I agree with Darlene and Rosemary on this. 1% increase is just a small increase. I think the increase from the city this year was 13%. Mm-hmm. We don't want to do that. We don't want to go down the road and then we have a huge increase. I think we have to do something gradual. As we discussed earlier, I think we could save a lot of money if we're permitted to use distance learning in the fall. But that's totally up in the air at this point as to what we are allowed to do by the governor. And of course, nobody knows where this virus is going. But I agree that we should make this 1% increase.
All three of your remarks are appropriate points of discussion for this resolution, but to be clear, adopting this resolution tonight does not set the tax millage rate. That will be done when the final budget adoption happens in the month of June. Is there any other comment on this or any other item that's in the new business or the supplemental new business?
Mr. President, this is Tyler. I guess this is a tough topic. This is one that is going to be hard and going to require a lot of us to do some deep soul searching, I guess, to put it mildly. Because when we look at this, we know that the families that are going to be most impacted are going to be those who are already on fixed incomes or lower socioeconomic, those who have been furloughed from their jobs or lost their jobs through this. And though 1% is nominal, when you have nothing, nominal becomes exponential. And so I know, like, as we move through this, I just want us to be cognizant of the families that are going to be hit the hardest when we do a tax raise. And I'm not saying that I disagree with any of the points that were being made. I just want us to make sure that as we maneuver through this, that we're thinking of our families who are barely making it right now. Many whom have lost their employment, or maybe small business owners and have not been able to operate, and just what that will look like for them, in addition to paying back small business loans, that kind of stuff that they're going to be now accountable for as they're trying to keep their businesses open, or just they're paying their utilities and their bills themselves. So I know this is not a conversation we go into lightly. I just want to make sure that we remember too that nominal is again exponential when there's nothing.
Okay, anything else on this or any other item in the new business or supplemental new business? I see, Darlene, that the Connell Conservation Plan is here for approval, 2 items down from what we're talking about.
I'd really like to thank the board for supporting this great project. And as you see under supplemental already, the PTO over at Connell is embracing a project as well and investing $12,000 in playground equipment over there. So hopefully once we get through this yellow phase, we'll be able to start doing some fundraising and get this project started. I think it's going to be a great thing for our district, and I really appreciate everyone supporting it.
And then the supplemental new business is a donation of swing sets to Joanna Connell from the Joanna Connell PTO.
Mhm.
Appointing our new human resources director this evening, and our superintendent is amending his contract with us and foregoing a raise that he would have been given this year. I applaud him and salute him for his self-sacrifice and his example for that. Any comments on any of these items? Questions? If not, roll call on the new business and supplemental new business.
Mr. Titus,
Yes.
Ms. Cooley,
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Ms. Pickens,
Yes.
Ms. Sheridan,
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel, Mr. Spiegel, Mr. Harkins.
Yes. Motion carries, new business passes. Next, we have the approval of minutes for the meeting April 8th, 2020, as attached electronically to the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve those minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Moved by Ms. Feeney,
I'll second it.
second by Rose.
Yep.
Getting better, Rose.
I'll get the hang of Zoom.
Oh, it's not you, it's my hearing.
What
I
can
need
help you there, John?
cookies, Rose. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. We need a motion to approve the bills and payroll for payment for the period of April 3rd through the 24th of 2020.
Mr. President, Gwen Cooley, make a motion.
Okay, moved by Ms. Cooley. Is there a second?
Second.
Darlene seconded it. Any discussion? Roll call.
Just one moment. I'm showing that Tom Spiegel is logged in. Are you showing the same?
Just a minute. We're checking to see if Mr. Spiegel is logged in.
Mr. Titus? Mr. Titus?
Yes.
Ms. Cooley?
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Pickens?
Yes.
Ms. Sheridan?
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel? I'm showing that Mr. Spiegel is logged in. Mr. Spiegel?
May he be muted and not know it.
He is muted.
You still hear audio.
Okay. Mr. Harkins?
Yes. Motion carries. Report of the secretary. Do we have a motion to approve the report for the 9-month period ended March 31st, 2020? And the capital projects report, investment summaries, and treasurer's report for March 2020 as attached electronically to the agenda. We have a motion.
So move.
Moved by Ms. Cooley,
I second it.
second by Rose. Discussion. Roll call.
Mr. Titus?
Yes.
Ms. Cooley?
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Pickens?
yes,
Ms. Sheridan?
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel? Mr. Harkins?
Yes. Mr. Wachter, are you with us?
I am, sir.
We're at the point for award on bids, and there's about 8 separate items, and the secretary has informed me that she'd like us to vote on them separately. We have one all-inclusive motion to approve them so that we don't have to move it each time and then vote individually, on each individual item, or would you feel more comfortable if we had a motion and a second for each one?
Mrs. Jones, does the board doc system require that there be a motion and second on each one of them if we're going to be holding separate votes?
Yes.
In that case, Mr. Harkins, because of the technology that we're using, I would recommend that we have a motion and second for each item.
And we will. Thank you. So under the award of bids, the first one is a contract award to E.E. Austin and Sons Incorporated for general construction of the new esports facility for Erie High School. We have a motion to award that bid.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we award the bid to EEA Austin and Sons.
Is there a second?
I second it.
Seconded by Ms. Sheridan. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Titus?
Yes.
Ms. Cooley?
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Pickens?
yes,
Ms. Sheridan?
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel? Mr. Harkins?
Yes. Next is a contract award to Keystone Electric, a division of Zenith Systems, for electrical construction for a new esports facility at Erie High School. You have a motion to make that award.
I move it.
Moved by Mr. Nichols. Second.
I'll second it.
Dave, seconded by Ms. Sheridan. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Titus?
Yes.
Ms. Cooley?
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Pickens?
yes,
Ms. Sheridan?
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel? Mr. Harkins?
Yes. And related to that, we next have a contract award to the Scobell Company Incorporated for the HVAC construction of the new esports facility for the Erie High School. Do we have a motion to award that?
I have a motion to award that.
Moved by Ms. Feeney. Is there a second?
I second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Nichols. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Titus?
Yes.
Ms. Cooley?
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney?
Yes.
Mr. Nichols?
Yes.
Ms. Pickens?
yes,
Ms. Sheridan?
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel? Mr. Harkins?
Yes. Gwen, this is the room you were talking about that's connected with the way we want to honor Mr. Tucker, correct?
Yes, that's the technology in the science lab, the new room.
Just clarifying if Neil's listening. Do we know, Neil or Brian, approximately when that construction will be complete for that room so that we can consider when to plan a dedication ceremony?
I will not have an exact end date until we have the first job conference with all three of the primes on the job. My guess is that we should be able to get that wrapped up sometime in early September, knowing the work that needs to be done.
Just so we know, and you coordinate it with Erica and everybody else to make sure that we include the Tucker family and have an appropriate ceremony, and we can be aiming for that. Thanks.
You're welcome.
Next, we need approval for the award on bids for art supplies for the 2020-21 school year. Is there a motion to do that? Award those?
So moved.
Moved by Darlene Feeney.
Correct.
Is there a
Second.
Second by Lori Pickens. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Titus,
Yes.
Miss Cooley,
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Miss Pickens,
Yes.
Miss Sheridan,
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel, Mr. Harkins.
Yes. Next, we have award for bids of curriculum supplies for the 2020-2021 school year. We have a motion to award those.
I move it.
Moved by Sumner Nichols.
Second.
Second by Gwen Cooley. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Titus,
Yes.
Miss Cooley,
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Miss Pickens,
Yes.
Miss Sheridan,
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel, Mr. Harkins.
Yes. Next is award on bids for school and office supplies for the 2020-2021 school year. We have a motion to award those.
So moved.
Moved by Ms. Feeney.
Second.
Seconded by Sumner.
Tyler.
Tyler, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I lost all my gains. Okay, seconded by Tyler. Any discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Titus,
Yes.
Miss Cooley,
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Miss Pickens,
Yes.
Miss Sheridan,
Yep.
Mr. Spiegel, Mr. Harkins.
Yes. We have an award to make for bids for science materials for the 2020-2021 school year. Need a motion to do that.
I move it.
Moved by Sumner Nichols,
Second.
seconded by Tyler Titus. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Titus,
Yes.
Miss Cooley, Miss Cooley,
Yes. Yes.
Mrs. Feeney,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Miss Pickens,
Yes.
Miss Sheridan,
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel, Mr. Harkins.
Yes. The final award of bids tonight is for waste removal and recycling services for 2020 through 2025. You have a motion to do that.
I move it.
Moved by Sumner Nichols,
Second.
seconded by Tyler Titus. Discussion? Roll call.
Mr. Titus,
Yes.
Miss Cooley,
Yes.
Mrs. Feeney,
Yes.
Mr. Nichols,
Yes.
Miss Pickens,
Yes.
Miss Sheridan,
Yes.
Mr. Spiegel, Mr. Harkins.
Yes. Is there any other matter which any board member would like to bring up for discussion or comment on? While you're thinking about it, I'll ask Kaylin if she's still there in these unusual times as a student, if she has any thoughts that might enlighten us, or that she feels like saying, or that we could benefit from in her last meeting with us in her capacity as student representative? Kaylin?
I don't have anything to say.
Okay. Thank you for participating with us. Good
You're
luck to you.
welcome.
Is there any other matter?
President, Mr. President, I have something I'd like to say.
Sure, Rose.
I'd like to say thank you to Brian for freezing his salary. A leader does that in hard times, and that's showing great leadership to our district. So again, Brian, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anyone else on any other matter or that one?
Mr. President.
Tyler?
Again, Brian, thank you for doing that. I do think that that demonstrates great leadership. It really does. And I would also like to take a moment to, I know we've had a lot of discussion regarding our seniors and graduation and then moving on, but to make another note to just how proud we are. And we know that this is not just this year, but they've had many hurdles that they've come over these past 4 years to get to where they are, and to take that moment and to just honor and appreciate the work that they've done, the work that the district has done, the work that their families have done and put in, and all the supports around them. And that this hardship and what we're going through now is not lost on this board or on this district, and that we are immensely proud of the next step that many of them will take. And that if they need any additional resources or assistance, that I know the district would be more than willing to help in any way possible as they navigate through the next steps into their next journey after high school. So again, congratulations to all of them as well.
Mr. President.
Fred?
Thank you, Mr. Brian, for doing, I know it may seem like I might be a pain because I am a mother of a graduating senior, but I want to say thank you. Thank you to your committees that have worked to give them some facsimile of graduation. My daughters talked about, well, they're doing this in Texas. And I said, well, you know what? Things can change. Let us accept what we're going to do, be thankful for it, and let's move forward. And I thank you for being a leader and freezing your salary, because that shows you a big person.
Neil, I thought of something. If you're ready, or if you have anything to say, do we need to know anything more about Roosevelt? Are things moving there, or is there any update on that?
Things are moving. Bids are due on Friday. The plan is to try to salvage as much of the material with our internal guys as possible. So our tradespeople are going to go in and take every single locker that's usable out of the building. We'll take them to the service center and wash them down. And then once I know a good inventory of how many we have, then we can decide what the plan is to do with them.
Thanks, Neil.
Mr. President.
Fred?
This is Miss Cooley. Miss Hyberski, are you still planning on leaving us, or you go stay a little longer?
She's leaving.
No, I'm definitely leaving in June. Thank you.
Wow. Okay.
Anyone else? Any other matter?
Mr. President, I read on Monday that the AP tests were going to go online this week. And I just wanted to make sure that, first, I want to wish all of our juniors and seniors good luck on their exams, and I'm sure that they're going to be very successful. And I admire them for putting all that extra work and effort into getting advanced credits in high school. And secondly, just to make sure that our counselors are available, or someone's available in case anyone would have any issue with getting online to take those tests.
Anyone else? Any other matter? If not, we'll adjourn the meeting, and I thank you for your continued understanding and involvement. So the meeting is adjourned.
Motion.
Oh, I need a motion. Once I start going down the slide, I'm going.
I make motion.
Who made that?
Tom.
Oh, there he is.
There he
Oh,
is.
Sorry, that's
welcome,
please a
Tom.
minute.
You
were
were already
MIA.
marked absent.
I should have been.
He's in detention.
Okay, moved by Mr. Spiegel. Is there any
I'll
discussion?
second it.
Second by Mr. Nichols. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Deja vu too.